As we follow rivers offshore, they can continue underwater as marine canyons. This shows massive discharge. Cataracts of all shapes and sizes can lead into marine canyons. They can have impressive canyon widths at very impressive depths. And can commonly continue for hundreds of miles off of the continental shelf. The sheer magnitude of these canyons baffles scientists. But they do know how they were formed. They suggest debris flows. And debris flows can be seen in these canyons and correlated with them. They are dense enough to erode rock underwater. Flash floods in steep terrain can create powerful debris flows. And steep mountain canyons feed directly into marine canyons. In these mountains, we find evidence of debris flows. There is one river in this area that is quite remarkable. It's just a little stream, but has some major terraces. But most remarkable is that it flows to the east, but has an expansion bar that points to the west. This is a directional expansion bar since it is located after a tight turn in the river. This current had enough inertia and power behind it to cross over the coastal range. And while doing so, it carved mountain canyons that lead into the marine canyons. This gives us evidence that water poured over these ranges, and a lot of rock debris was moved and tumbled downhill. Rivers that go through ranges are more likely to be connected to marine canyons. Behind the rocky front of a debris flow is a thick mud flow that pushes the front forward. The mass of the mud flow is the driving force. It experiences little friction and is much denser than water. The mud flow that is flowing down the mountains and flowing off the continental shelf is what drives the front of the debris flow forwards across the relatively flat terrain of the sea floor. These incredibly long canyons tell us that the debris flow continued for a very, very long time in an incredibly catastrophic event. This mud flow was able to carve a series of terraces as it decreased. But the ocean isn't the only place to have underwater canyons. They're also found under the Great Lakes. And they can even have underwater drumlins. Antarctica's seafloor also has these rock drumlins and very rutted out underwater terrain. These features have nothing to do with ice. We know that a current can push sediment forward in a lobe formation. And we see that underwater canyons did this as well. The front end of a debris flow that abruptly stops can show a lobe formation that can have many smaller lobes within it. Scientists believe there was an ancient seaway that ran through North America. This is supported by geology and topography. But what if this ancient seaway had a current, making it a megascale river, just like the Mississippi once was? Together, they would have formed this incredible debris flow deposit in the Gulf of Mexico. It is a lobe-shaped formation with smaller lobes within it. This was clearly pushed from the north. But most amazingly, this deposit is made of salt. Now we have catastrophic salt deposition to go along with our salt scablands that are found all over the world.